Hello everyone and welcome back to Trivia Fever here with your host Priyadarshan, and I will be asking some very interesting questions today. All the questions for today, you can say it's safe to say that they have a particular theme. Let's see whether you're able to crack that or not. But before we get to the questions for today, it's time for me to tell you the answers for yesterday's questions because I'm sure you would have been waiting for that. So yesterday we had only four questions, but there were four intriguing, interesting questions. So I'll start off with question number one for yesterday. This 19-year-old on 26th November will become the first Indian hoopster to play in a competition format post the COVID-19 breakup. She will represent Northern Arizona University in the National Collegiate Association Women's Basketball Tournament. So, who is this player who is making India proud? So, the answer for this question is Sanjana Ramesh. Now that I've told you, you can Google and read up a little bit more about her. She's a very talented youngster. And that brings us to question number two for yesterday. Here it is. He scored the fastest goal by an Indian player and the fastest so far when he has scored the goal in the 52nd second for Chennai FC against Jamshedpur FC in the Indian Super League. So who's this player who's in a hurry to win the match for his team? So the answer for this question is Anirudh Thapa. So he looks like a muscly man. You can see the goal. The replays are also available, and that brings us to our penultimate question for yesterday. So here it is. Name the cricketer who has been nominated for the coveted ICC Men's Player of the Decade award in not one but all the five categories. So the answer for this question, I know you would have had a couple of doubts in your head. Well, we are talking about the current captain of the Indian national team, that is King Kohli, Virat Kohli. And that brings us to our last question for yesterday. In addition to the answer of the previous question, which we know now is Virat Kohli, there is another Indian player who is also nominated for the ICC Men's Player of the Decade. Now, who is this player? I'll give you a small hint. He is not a part of the ODI and T20 squad now, but he still holds his position in the test team. So the player that we are talking about, the spinner that we are talking about is Ravichandran Ashwin. So that sums up our four answers for yesterday's questions. It's time to move on to the five questions that I have for you today. Listen to the questions carefully. Maybe some question might give you a hint for the answer of some other question. So be very careful while listening to the questions. Here is question number one. Who said after beating England in the 1986 World Cup quarter-final, it was as if we'd beaten a country, more than just a football team? So who is this player who made this statement back then? Moving on to question number two for today, here it is. He holds the record for making the most number of appearances as captain of any country in a World Cup. He skippered his country on 16 occasions. So who is this skipper that we are talking about? Moving on to question number three for today. Here it is. On 17th of August 2015, Maradona visited Ali bin Nasser and paid tribute by presenting a signed Argentina jersey. Why did Maradona do this specifically for this person? The answer for this question, trust me guys, it's very intriguing and it's very cool. So think a little out of the box, you might get the answer for this one. And that brings us to question number four for today. So here it is. Maradona's second goal against England, which came just 4 minutes after the hand of God in the quarter-final of the World Cup in 1986, saw him dribble past the opposition defenders to eventually beat Peter Shilton to make the score 2-0. FIFA called this goal with a specific term. So what was the name or the term given to this goal? And that brings us to our last question for today. So listen carefully, here it is. In 2005, Maradona started hosting a talk show on Argentinian television. Who was his main guest in his very first episode? So that sums up our 5 questions for yesterday. I hope you enjoyed them. And obviously, I will be back tomorrow with the answers for today's questions. And the answers are very interesting. I will be looking forward to your answers in the comments below. So please start typing. Don't Google. Try to think about the answers. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. That's all from me for now. I will see you all tomorrow. Till then, please stay safe, take care, and a very good night.